Jess, we heard a little bit more from the administration in terms of details. What's the latest?
Well, we actually just heard from Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, and he says that the Senate will move quickly to take up the House-passed bill. So that was phase 2 of the economic relief here. But at the same time, the Senate will start crafting phase 3. There was some question over whether or not the Senate would try to combine 2 and 3 and have the House come back before they pass that second bill. But it seems now they are going to take a vote on that second bill while they're working on the third. Now, the third is going to be the big one. That's what we heard from the administration earlier today. That could include direct payments to Americans. It could help, or it could be relief for airlines. There are quite a few proposals in that. We know that now Secretary Mnuchin, he just left a meeting with senators. He is saying this could be $1 trillion in economic stimulus. Now, it might not include that payroll tax cut. That has been something that the president has been pushing, but now it seems the administration is backing off that idea for now, a little bit at least. Now it seems like there is more appetite in Congress to go after that direct payment to Americans. Mnuchin said earlier today that it could take a few months for a payroll tax cut to really have a benefit for your everyday working American. Here's a little bit more about what he had to say on that.
We're looking at sending checks to Americans immediately. And what we've heard from hardworking Americans, many companies have now shut down, whether it's bars or restaurants. Americans need cash now, and the president wants to get cash now.
Mnuchin did make a few comments after leaving that lunch with senators a few minutes ago. He says that aid would come into a combination of loans, direct checks, and creating liquidity for small businesses. He also says now is not the time to be concerned about the deficit. So we'll be watching this to see when the Senate actually votes on that economic relief and when they start crafting this phase 3. Sean and Dan.
Hey, Jess, we had some interesting comments from several lawmakers really over the last couple of days. But one thing that was recently said was Illinois Senator Dick Durbin. Now, he was saying that the Senate should consider working and voting remotely amid the coronavirus outbreak. From your time just covering Washington, I mean, what are your thoughts on that?
I mean, that would be a huge change for Congress to have them be able to vote when they're not physically present in the Capitol. Senator Durbin did speak this morning on the Senate floor saying if we're telling people that they should avoid large groups, that older people should stay home, then we should practice what we preach. The average age in the U.S. Senate is 63. There are 100 members. So obviously not following those guidelines. Durbin did suggest using teleconferencing or Skype to hold committee hearings. He says that if we're going to tell Americans to do this, we should be doing it ourselves. Here's a little bit more about what he had to say.
Let's try to abide by the same guidelines we're preaching to the rest of America. Let's use new technology. Let's use our best thinking and come up with bipartisan answers. That, to me, is the way to manage the Senate in the midst of this national emergency.
Now, voting remotely would require a rule change. Senator Durbin said that several senators are exploring that idea right now. We did reach out to their office, Senator Amy Klobuchar, who is the top Democrat on the Rules Committee, but we have not heard back from them yet. But that would be just a really big change. So we'll keep you updated as we hear more about that.
And Jess, Dan here, just a quick follow-up. I know Dick Durbin there is the Senate whip for the Dems. I'm just curious the extent to which both sides are now agreeing, or are they still more disagreeing on what happens next and what to do? Because, you know, it was only a week ago that we heard people, more I feel like on the GOP side, saying, oh, the Dems are politicizing coronavirus. Are we now at a point where everyone has collectively agreed this is enough of a problem that both sides are really on the same page, do you think?
I don't think both sides are on the same page on everything. You're never going to get complete agreement here in Washington. I know that the idea of sending cash directly to Americans is seeming to be a little more popular than the payroll tax cut. I think that was going to be a really big hurdle to try to get that through Congress. Lawmakers have just been skeptical about that from the get-go. But there is a recognition on both sides that something has to be done here. Something big has to be done here. We did hear from Minority Leader Schumer proposing a $750 billion package. So we'll see if they're able to shake out those details. But they definitely are hoping to address that problem. Whether they can agree on the details, that remains to be seen. McConnell says they will not leave Washington until they vote on that phase 3.
All right, lots going on down there. Jess Smith, thanks so much.
Hey investors, Zach Guzman here. Are you interested in learning more about the markets and getting the latest financial news? Well, then click right here to subscribe to our Yahoo Finance YouTube channel. Get the latest up-to-the-minute market analysis, big interviews in the world of finance, and information on how to manage your money every day wherever you are.